This day, again, Fujin was the last one to arrive. He came in merely a couple of minutes before 8 a.m.
Look at these kids, coming early to sit on the first bench.
He went and sat alone on the last bench and removed a stone and placed it in the desk. Genki arrived at 8 and started the class. The first hour apparently was a lecture. He was talking about the history of the village, the pride that one should have in being a Konoha shinobi, and all such stuff. Fujin classified this lecture as a brainwashing session. Fujin observed the classroom. The two Naras were half asleep. The Akimichis were probably thinking about food. The three Inuzukas were too distracted with their dogs.
One of the two Uchihas was very smug for some reason, while the two Kurama girls were gossiping about something. Others were paying attention.
The smug-looking guy was Uchiha Yori. It seems like he wanted to walk in the footsteps of Itachi, as he was bragging a lot about how the previous year's best student was an Uchiha, who was only 7 years old on the previous day. Apparently, both the Uchihas could already perform the fireball jutsu.
Fujin finally stopped looking around. When Genki was writing something on the board, Fujin grabbed the stone with his left hand and started to train earth nature while keeping his hand under the desk.
When he channeled his chakra, his whole attention was on Genki, to see whether he would notice and react. However, there wasn't any visible change in Genki's expression.
Lucky. He ain't a natural sensor, or he is ignoring me for some reason, though the chances of that are pretty low. Whatever, both scenarios are good for me. The lecture went on for an hour. Though Fujin paid some attention, the majority of his attention was on training his earth nature.
After the brainwashing session was over, Genki started explaining to everyone about chakra, and then finally moved on to molding chakra with hand signs. Fujin stopped his earth nature training and paid full attention in class.
The kids from the clans were, however, distracted. They had already been taught hand signs before they joined the academy.
In that class, Genki taught everyone about 3 hand signs and made everyone practice them. He monitored everyone closely. After the lecture was over, he said that in the next 3 days, he'll be teaching them the remaining hand signs.
After that, they broke off for lunch, followed by a lecture on history. Senju Teru and Hyuga Hana were answering a lot of questions asked by Genki in this lecture. Fujin, on the other hand, stuck to his training while pretending to pay attention in class.
The week went by in a similar manner. Genki taught all 12 basic hand signs, as well as the clone hand sign. He stressed the importance of learning hand signs properly, which Fujin noted was similar to the notes he read from Scroll yesterday, and asked everyone to practice them at home.
Other than this, Genki also introduced everyone to the leaf concentration exercise.
In normal lectures, Fujin kept practicing his earth nature training, but if he got bored with it, he used to try to use his wind nature to cut the stone instead of crumbling it with earth nature. In week 2, Genki held a class to throw shurikens. He first started with a competition between the students to understand where everyone stands. He also called a few other teachers to help him with this session.
Most of the clan kids performed well. The best was tied between Uchiha Yori and Senju Teru. The other Uchiha, Aburame and Shimura, rounded up the top 5.
Fujin was a bit startled by the serious attitude of Shimura Nobu. He thought, I guess Danzo got a root-like training program for the kids from his clan as well.
Though Fujin had practiced earlier with self-made wooden shurikens, it was barely at an acceptable level. For starters, the difference in weights itself reduced the impact of earlier training. Out of 6 shots, he only managed to hit 1 on the board, and even that was closer to the edge rather than the center.
He was ranked 21st in the competition. Afterwards, Genki met up with each and every student, giving them advice.
All right, you have a lot of work to do on this. First, we'll start with your throwing form. Once we get that correct, you will improve quickly.
Fujin nodded and allowed Genki to correct his posture, and then he tried to replicate the way in which Genki displayed throwing a shuriken, after Genki corrected him a few more times. After being satisfied with his throwing form, Genki moved on to the remaining students.
Fujin took this training seriously and practiced it a lot. After that day, his time at the academy was divided into his shuriken throwing practice, which he did on the academy practice grounds itself, right after the academy ended. And after reaching home, he practiced the hand signs, molded the clay, and meditated. He tried sensing his environment in the previous week, but didn't have any success at it, so that was left for later.
The new thing that he started was that Fujin started to practice walking on the wall instead of leaf concentration. This was done as a substitute for tree climbing. Fujin noted that since the walls are uniform, wall walking should be easier than tree climbing.
However, for now, this should be enough. He arranged the cushions properly on the floor so that he won't get injured when he fell on the floor hundreds of times.
Walking on walls took a few days to learn. By the end of week 2, he pulled that off without falling down. He could walk on the wall as well as stand on the ceiling. The major issue he faced here was the shortage of chakra. However, every day he practiced, he discovered that his stamina was improving.
But he wasn't sure how much of that was due to better chakra control and how much was due to an increase in chakra reserves. After trying to analyze it a bit, he dropped the matter, assuring himself that it didn't matter as he was making progress anyways.
During all those falls, he also learned how to flip himself in the air to properly land on his feet.
After the first month in the academy, Genki taught everyone the academy's basic taijutsu style. It included a lot of forms and moves to make it a comprehensive taijutsu style, covering all areas. But that also meant that it wasn't mastered at anything.
However, for now, Fujin didn't concern himself with that. This taijutsu style was obviously way superior to everything he could do in taijutsu. He was quite surprised.
Fujin says, "I didn't think the basic style itself would be so complicated and cover all aspects. It makes me wonder how much better Senju and Uchiha taijutsu styles are."
And Hyuga taijutsu is obviously superior to even them. Well, let's first master the academy style. Then I can think about learning a more advanced form of taijutsu. This will take a lot of time, but luckily, I do have a lot of time.
After that day, the taijutsu forms got added to his morning workout as well. The taijutsu training in the academy went on for over a month just to teach the students everything about that taijutsu style.
Fujin noted that the ones from Senju, Uchiha, Hyuga, and Inuzuka clans didn't learn the academy style of taijutsu. After the taijutsu lessons were over, the academy students were made to fight among themselves every week. And depending upon their performance and technique, Genki gave them tips or asked them to practice a certain form. Even these taijutsu matches were arranged as tournaments. Here, Fujin did much better and was ranked 8th in the first tournament. Though his taijutsu style wasn't very good yet, he did benefit from having a stronger body. He wasn't very surprised by it. Though these students are very talented, maybe some even more than him, no 6-year-old kid would put as many hours into training as he did. The ones who do would be rare exceptions, like Guy for instance. Even Rock Lee only started to work that hard after he became a genin.
Hyuga Hoka ranked first in the first taijutsu tournament. He was followed by Senju Teru, Hyuga Hana, Uchiha Yori, and the third Hyuga. Shimura Nobu was 6th, followed by one of the remaining 2 Senju at 7th. Well, this is promising. Unlike them, I haven't had any proper training yet. As I train further, I should grow stronger and a lot faster than these guys. I suppose I am moving in the right direction. I should just stick to it.
Genki started to conduct taijutsu tournaments and shuriken throwing tournaments every week for his class. Fujin noted that no such tournaments were arranged for the other 4 divisions. In fact, in one of his encounters with Daisuke, he learned that they hadn't even had a taijutsu class yet and are still being taught shuriken throwing and making hand signs properly.
I guess they really are serious about developing this class properly. From what I heard, this was done last year as well, though they were incredibly lucky to have Itachi in last year's class.
If they have similar expectations from this year, then they will be very disappointed. Then again, I suppose they won't expect a talent of Itachi's caliber so regularly.
Ending the train of thought, Fujin looked forward towards the future, a bit excited to keep improving himself. Continued in this manner for the first 6 months. After 6 months, Genki had to report to Hiruzen on the progress of his class.
Lord Hokage. It's all right. How is your class faring? Any talents?
Genki says, "It's going pretty well.
While it's still too early to say, I believe the majority of these kids will become elite among Chunins, and few probably will become Jonins. Senju and Uchiha Yori have been showing the most talent, as expected from someone in those clans.
Hyuga Hoka, and Hana have also been performing really well. Shimura Nobu is also pretty good. The remaining 3 from Senju, Uchiha, and Hyuga clans, and the lone Aburame are decent as well.
Genki says, among the civilians, we had a surprise. The orphan, Suzuki Fujin, has been progressing pretty fast. I've spied a little on him. He is very diligent and works very hard. He is definitely someone we should nurture for the future. There's another among civilian kids, Aoki Nori, who is performing very well. The other kids are doing okay.
Genki says, on average, the talent in this batch is higher than the previous one. Sadly, there's no one like Itachi in this class.
That's all right. We can't get someone like Itachi every year. But your report still sounds very promising. If in the next 15 years we get a dozen Jonins and have remaining at Chunin ranks, then it'll help the village a lot.
You've done a good job. Keep it up. You'll be responsible for raising this batch into good shinobi for our village.
Yes, Lord Hakage.
Looks like we will be having another good crop of shinobi. Still, to think we'd have another diligent orphan. I wonder how his story would turn out to be.
The praise that Genki had for Fujin wasn't undeserved. Fujin improved a lot in these 6 months, a lot more than Genki gave him credit for. After all, even he couldn't know the fact that even at home, Fujin spent most time training in a very planned manner.
The most important improvement was in Fujin molding the chakra with hand signs. The speed had finally reached an acceptable speed, and he was able to do 6 random seals one after another consecutively. He decided that it was finally time to start learning the basic jutsus.
In Earth-Nature transformation, he managed to crumble the rock. The clay molding was also coming along well. He could now manipulate the clay freely and could partially harden it, but couldn't harden it entirely.
Fujin noted that his progress with Earth nature was much slower than Wind nature, but that was understandable as his affinity was wind. Fujin also managed to create deep cuts in stones using his wind nature.
In Taijutsu, he also adapted to the academy style very well. He frequently sparred with Teru, Hoka, and Yori in the academy, and now ranked within the top 4. Senju Teru, in particular, was kind of becoming a sparring partner to Fujin. In the tournaments, he also noted that his stamina was very high among his classmates, with only Teru being able to match his stamina. He wondered if this was only due to having a more trained body, or was his chakra also higher than others.
Shuriken throwing was coming around properly too. He was able to hit all 6 shurikens on the target with his right hand, though not all used to hit in the dead center yet. But left-handed throwing still needed a bit of practice, as he could only hit 4 out of 6 with it.
He decided to practice till he can consistently hit the dead center with both hands. Then he can try to hit the target while running around. In the weekly shuriken throwing competitions, Fujin slowly climbed into the top 10.
Probably the most surprising thing would be that he was able to pop the water balloon around 4 months after the academy had started. He moved on to the rubber ball, but that was very difficult for him. He felt like it'd be years before he could pop it successfully.
The class went on in a similar manner. The enthusiasm of a new academy had died down. However, competition between students had increased a lot.
A smug Uchiha Yori had turned into a grumpy Uchiha Yori. Though he was good, he obviously was no Itachi. In terms of shuriken throwing, he was matched equally by Teru, and others were slowly managing to hit correctly with all 6 shurikens as well.
Whereas in terms of taijutsu, both Teru and Hoka were better than him, and Fujin and Hana were at a similar level as him. And even in lectures, Hana and Teru used to outdo him. In all, Teru was obviously better than him, and Hana was around the same level.
Does this kind of jealousy unlock Sharingan, or does it have to be a major impact, like the death of someone? Well, I do hope he unlocks his Sharingan, though. It would be helpful to get some experience by sparring with someone with a Sharingan.
Those thoughts aside, Fujin had trouble of his own. His physical workouts in the morning were becoming stale. He had grown comfortable with them and didn't know how to make it harder without increasing the time of workout.
He had found out about the prices of the weights. After 6 months of saving, Fujin had saved up over 1,200 ryo and could afford to buy the lighter weights. After thinking about it a bit, he decided to consult Genki.
Unlike other things, there wasn't really much to hide about his physical workouts, as he used to do it in the open anyways. Anyone who did a little investigation would have found it out. So one day, after the lectures were over, he asked Genki for help. He explained his problem to his sensei properly. After thinking for a bit, Genki demonstrated to him a few slightly more difficult exercises. He also helped out to design a new workout plan for Fujin. Fujin says, this is really helpful. I should have asked him earlier. He actually seemed enthusiastic to help me. But then again, I'm pretty sure that even this will become comfortable for me after a few months.
Sensei, will it be fine if I make the exercises difficult by wearing weights?
Genki says, where did you learn about weights?
I saw a weapons shop in the market when I was shopping. I saw the weights in that shop.
I see. Well, it's good to be curious, but don't use weights for training. They'll affect the growth of your body, and it'll be bad for you in the long run.
It is very good that you asked me. Next time you have any such ideas, ask me before trying, okay?
Sensei, then is there anything else I could use to make the workout tougher?
Genki says Fujin was genuinely happy with the new plan, and yet he still keeps asking me these questions. Does that mean that he is thinking that this new workout will soon become easy for him? That's surprising. I knew he was diligent, but not this much. Now he makes me really look forward to his future.
Actually, there is another way. Instead of weights, you can have some seals do the same work without any disadvantages, like a gravity seal.
I guess I really need to learn Fuinjutsu.
However, these seals can't be given to anyone. Also, they are very expensive if you try to get them, so you can't get them by yourself.
What's he playing at? I think he is trying to bait me or something.
However, don't worry. Do you remember what I said on the first day? That the Hokage will watch your exams?
Genki says, if you perform the best among your classmates, then you can ask Hokage for a gift. So then you could ask Hokage for these seals to help you. Till then, you should stick to the plan I made for you.
Is he trying to motivate me to perform well in the exams by dangling a carrot in front of me?
Good, but the exams will also have a theoretical part and not only physical exercises, so you can have to study theory too if you want to come first.
Yes, Sensei. I'll study hard for the final exam.
It's hard to keep acting like a kid, though. There is an aspect of fun in it. And damn these adults, trying to manipulate little kids so much. It was the same in my previous life. Everyone just forces little kids to come first in everything they do. The sad part is, I actually have to perform well in those exams.
Still, it was very hilarious to watch. Him trying to manipulate a little kid. Sucks for him that I am no little kid. I guess he said that just because I don't participate much in those boring lectures. Come to think about it, I don't think I have ever even answered a single question he asked in class. No wonder he tried to manipulate me. I guess I'll have to improve my pretending to pay attention in class skill.
Anyways, I ain't really worried about theoretical exams. While I won't be arrogant to say that I am the smartest person in the room, my brain is much more mature than theirs. These exams should be very easy for me.
That said, the seals do worry me a bit. After all, if someone messes with the seal while putting it on me, it would become very troublesome. I guess I should check up on the gravity seal and some suppression seals in the library sometime later.
Ending his train of thoughts, Fujin looked again at the new workout plan and walked to the library. Fujin entered section 0 of the library, his eyes scanning the shelves. He was looking for specific scrolls regarding chakra control.
Here it is.
I can now walk on walls even in my sleep. I need to try tree climbing a bit and then move on to water walking if I want to improve my chakra control even further. If anyone asks where I learned these things, I can refer them to this scroll.
The scroll covered leaf concentration, tree climbing, and water walking. But what's this? A reference to a theoretical scroll at the very end?
Interesting. The scroll proposes a theory that chakra could be used to counterbalance ourselves against gravity itself. By applying force equal to gravity, one could float.
Still, no one has successfully managed to do this. Even Tsunade in the series didn't have any such skill, and her chakra control was the best there was. As for the Tsuchikage, I think they used Earth style to lighten themselves.
Anyways, this is an interesting theory. Maybe I could try it sometime later on.
Fujin moved to Section E. He grabbed the scroll for the clone jutsu. I see. Ram, snake, tiger. Only 3 seals. But a lot more has to be done internally. The hand signs are just a guide.
Guess that scraps all my plans for shadow clone jutsu. Anyways, I should start learning this jutsu. Back in his apartment, Fujin began practicing behind closed doors.
It was difficult. He had to return to the library multiple times to reread the scroll.
I guess he misunderstood that I'm visiting the library to learn more about the history and other stuff he covers in class. Well, whatever, it's not a problem for me. He temporarily scrapped his routine, focusing entirely on the clone jutsu. He only stopped to meditate when his chakra ran dry. 3 days later, clone jutsu. I never thought I'd make worse clones than Naruto. It took a week to create a decent clone, and another week to speed up the process. Next, transformation jutsu, critical for disguise and infiltration. Also, a good excuse if I get caught training outside. After a week, he could transform into his classmates, but it wasn't perfect. The appearance was fine, but smell and chakra were wrong.
This is tough. Even Naruto in the tuning exams couldn't replicate smell. Kiba found him out easily. I guess even academy graduates aren't expected to master that.
I can work around this by transforming into people from my previous life and using perfumes. That way, disguising as a stranger is doable. The next morning, the village atmosphere was wrong. Tense. Fujin noticed the solemn faces of the ninjas while doing his workout. He wondered what had happened. In class, the clan kids looked tense. Fujin approached Senju Teru. Why is everyone so tense? Didn't you get the news? Yesterday night, one of the legendary Sanin, Orochimaru, betrayed Konoha and ran away. He is a missing nin now.
Yeah, that's some bad news. Extremely surprising too.
Who would have thought a student of the 3rd Hokage would do this? I heard he did illegal experiments and killed people. What scum! Damn, it's hard to act surprised when you know the plot. Things are following the timeline. Minato's death, Itachi graduating, now Orochimaru. Next should be the Kumo attempt to kidnap Hinata and Hisashi's death. Giving Hisashi to them was spineless of Hiruzen. Well, I can't interfere. Orochimaru leaving is good news for me though. That eliminates half the danger on my list. Just need to avoid Danzo now. Fujin says, I wonder if Hiruzen let him go like in the anime. If so, that's a huge mistake. All those future deaths, even the 4th War reanimations, all on Hiruzen's soft decision. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, the atmosphere was heavy.
Hiruzen, you've grown soft. You let a huge threat escape.
I agree. He knows our secrets. A leak would be a nightmare.
It's unfortunate, but I'm sure he won't do anything detrimental to Konoha.
Just like you were sure he wouldn't defect, he killed a dozen ninjas escaping. We must mark him a missing nin and eliminate him. Sending squads will just get them killed. We are short on manpower. I'll send Jiraiya.
Hopefully he'll be able to convince Orochimaru to return.
Won't he fall prey to emotions like you? Send root ninjas with him. They'll just get in his way. That afternoon, the council met. The clan leaders were tense. Orochimaru is a missing nin. Bounty increased by 50%. Jiraiya is sent to hunt him. In Sunagakure, Rasa pondered the news.
Minato dead. Now Orochimaru gone? Konoha is falling apart. If only that bastard daimyo hadn't weakened us, I'd take advantage of this.
In Kirigakure, Yagura was too busy with internal problems to care.
In Iwagakure, the council looked to Onoki.
No point hurrying. Konoha is still strong. Brat A from Kumo will do something. Let's watch him and decide later.
Iwa Council says, fence-sitter indeed.
In Kumogakure, the fourth Raikage thought hard.
I'll see if I can take advantage of Konoha's misfortune.
While the whole ninja world discussed Orochimaru's defection, Fujin didn't bother with it and kept his focus on his training.
After 2 weeks of training for transformation jutsu, it had finally improved to an acceptable level, though it still had a lot of space for improvement.
After that, he began training for substitution jutsu. This one was much tougher than the other two. It took nearly twice the time to learn this jutsu and master it to an acceptable level.
However, it wasn't what Fujin had thought it to be. He thought, the technique is basically just misdirection.
The main focus here is noticing your opponent's focus, and the instant he loses focus a bit, replace yourself with an object quickly enough so that the enemy won't notice you. It ain't an instant switcheroo.
So it won't work against someone much stronger than you or someone having a Sharingan activated. The object actually has to be very close to you, otherwise the jutsu will become much harder to be performed.
That makes sense. Instant switcheroo would have been too overpowered considering that every academy kid learns this technique.
It does have a lot of variations though. Genjutsu, transformation jutsu can be used to fool the enemy better. Chakra threads could be used to bring an object at a distance closer to you.
It also states that a lower form summoning jutsu could be used to instantly summon the objects around you while you hightail out of there.
Still, though it ain't as overpowered as I thought, it is still very useful. The subtleness of misdirection would be a very important skill to have as a ninja. Could be applied in a heck of a lot of scenarios.
I should still master it to the point of being able to do it without hand signs, but body flicker just has to be focused much more now. I will also have to learn some wind and earth style escape jutsus. For nearly 2 months, Fujin kept on attempting these jutsus till he ran out of chakra. This process of training till he ran out of chakra had a marvelous effect on his chakra reserves. They increased considerably during these 2 months. During these 2 months, he also searched the library for scrolls on increasing chakra reserves. He found 2 scrolls very easily.
One explained that chakra increased as one experienced physical and spiritual growth, i.e., it could be increased over time by doing physical exercises and meditation.
Another compared chakra reserves to muscle. Just like how physically straining your muscles would increase muscles, chakra reserves would increase by straining it. So to increase the reserves, one had to keep using his chakra till he ran out of it.
Fujin had been dependent on the above 2 till now, which explained the rapid growth in his chakra reserves.
Apart from that, he also found a few other ways or theories. One scroll talked about using nature chakra, i.e. the sage mode, which would increase the chakra reserves and make it more potent for the time the sage mode was activated. Another scroll talked about increasing cellular activity. By making the cells more active, one could extract more chakra out of each cell, thus considerably increasing the reserves. It would also help in improving the physique.
Fujin was quite impressed with this theory. Sadly, the way to increase cellular activity wasn't mentioned. Fujin wondered, I doubt it'll be easy to increase cellular activity. Otherwise, this method would be very common. I wonder who came up with this theory. Perhaps I could contact that person in the future.
On reading the scroll entirely, he saw the name of the person who wrote this scroll at the end. He was very surprised by it initially, and then concluded, makes sense that it was the snake bastard who came up with this theory.
Seems like this method is a dead end. Maybe if I raid his bases in the future and get my hands on his research results, I could find the way if I get lucky, though the chances are pretty low to be honest.
Otherwise, I could try asking Tsunade. Her knowledge of the human body might exceed Orochimaru's, and she was his ex-teammate. It's possible that she helped Orochimaru with this. Sigh, another thing to consider for the future.
The other theories were similarly not implementable. Some were not complete, some were detrimental in the long run. Fujin sighed and returned all the scrolls to their place.
He thought, I guess my only option is to ask Genki. Sadly, I don't have a reasonable excuse to explain why I want to increase my chakra level.
His first question would be, how am I running out of chakra? And I can't tell him that I am practicing the basic jutsus on my own. If told it to him, and he told his colleagues, the word would eventually reach Hiruzen and Danzo.
A 6-year-old orphan who can perform all 3 basic ninjutsu. It's a ticket straight into the root.
After Fujin had those 3 jutsus down, he started to again allot time for other aspects. For the past 2 months, he had decreased his shuriken throwing practice time, dropped clay molding, stopped practicing chakra control, and used to only meditate only when he was totally drained of chakra.
Among those 3 jitsus, he didn't intend to work much on the clone jitsu, as in the future he'll be replacing it with shadow clones and elemental clones. As for transformation jitsu, it was very difficult to completely master, so he just decided to focus on the appearance part.
However, for substitution jutsu, he planned to master it completely, to the extent that he could do it instantly without the use of any hand signs.
In these 2 months, he also progressed a lot in earth and wind nature training during the lectures. He was now instantly able to crumble a small stone into the soil, and also able to cut a stone into 2.
In a rather awkward but hilarious incident, his desk was once full of soil from crumbled stones, and he had to silently clear it after the classes were over.
After that incident, he stopped crumbling stones in the class. He wondered what he could do during that time, though. Sadly, he couldn't think of a suitable replacement for earth nature training.
So he just decided to further focus on wind nature and started carrying a small metal scrap into class and started to try to cut it. Over the next few months, he started to go out of his home and roam the streets of Konoha while using transformation jutsu to disguise himself as a random teenager. He identified a lot of isolated places in the bunch of mini forests within Konoha and started practicing tree climbing.
It was very similar to walking on walls, the only difference being the rougher surface of the trees. He managed to do it within an hour and moved on to water walking.
Apart from that, he also read up on the gravity seal and a few suppression seals in the library. Another month went by in a similar manner, leaving less than a month for final exams. Fujin finally wondered whether to start preparing for exams. He thought, still 25 days for written exams. It's still too early. However, after convincing himself a bit more, he sighed. Whatever, it's my first exam in this world. Might as well get it done with.
While studying, he did note that the syllabus here was tougher than in his previous world. It's probably what would be expected of a 9-10-year-old kid, and not from a 6-7-year-old kid.
He wondered whether the syllabus in the ending years may actually provide a challenge to him.
Soon, final exams were upon the academy students. For all other students, the final exams were only the written part. However, for the ones in elite batches, more parameters were added. For Fujin's class, shuriken throwing competition, leaf concentration competition, and taijutsu tournaments were arranged too.
For shuriken throwing, a board with circles of different sizes but the same center was placed, and everyone had to hit it. The points depended on which circle the shuriken hit, with the smallest circle having the highest points and the largest having the lowest. In all, the shuriken competition was worth 30 points.
Leaf concentration competition was only to see how long one could keep the leaf from falling down. It was worth 20 points.
The one who held it for the longest would get the full 20 points, and the points of others would depend on how long they kept the leaf from falling as compared to him.
For example, if the one who held it for the longest held it for 30 minutes, he would get 20 points, whereas if someone else held it for only 21 minutes, he'd get only 14 points. The taijutsu tournament was straightforward, with points depending on rank. It was worth 50 points, and the written exam itself was worth 100 points.
The exams finally happened. Fujin did get a laugh out of how serious everyone was about the exams.
In written exams, Fujin was confident that he answered everything right, though he wasn't sure how everyone else performed.
2 days after the written exams, the other competitions were to be held. He guessed that they wanted to grade the written papers first so that Hokage can reward the winner right there. They started the day with leaf concentration. Fujin, as he had already started to practice water walking, was quite confident in this competition.
The competition started. The first guy dropped his leaf in merely 2 minutes. He was from the Inuzuka clan. More than half of the class dropped out within the first 4 minutes.
Fujin could hear their groaning and upset voices from them. After 10 minutes, only 9 students were still competing.
After 15 minutes, the only ones left were Suzuki Fujin, Hyuga Hana, Senju Teru, Shimura Nobu, and Uchiha Yori.
Right around that time, he heard Yori groaning. He knew from the exercises conducted in class that at max the others could go 20-odd minutes.
Senju Teru dropped the leaf during the 19th minute, Nobu dropped it in the 21st minute, whereas Hana continued till the 22nd minute.
Fujin decided to build up a decent lead for the points he'll be losing in the Taijutsu tournament. Wanting to stop around half an hour, he continued up to the 33rd minute before intentionally making a mistake and dropping the leaf.
Though he had outperformed his classmates, he wasn't that worried about attracting a lot of attention, as last year Itachi didn't drop the leaf for frickin' 2 hours.
And there were rumors that he didn't drop it, but was asked to get up.
On opening his eyes, he saw a few kids looking at him enviously, and Yori nearly fuming at how outmatched he was in this competition.
The next one was the shuriken throwing competition. Yori, Teru, Nobu, Fujin, Hoka, and a couple more scored perfectly in this competition.
From what I've seen, Yori is able to hit a still target while he is moving very accurately, while he can also hit a moving target on a consistent basis, though not dead center.
Sadly for him, the exam wasn't that difficult, and hence many others were able to match him. If not, only Teru and maybe Nobu would have been able to match him.
In the Taijutsu competition, Hyuga Hoka ranked first, followed by Teru and Hana. Fujin was ranked fourth, and Yori and Nobu were 5th and 6th respectively.
Fujin defeated Yori in the quarterfinals. Admittedly, Yori's technique was superior to Fujin's, however, his physique was much weaker. However, in the semis, Fujin lost to Hoka, and in the fight to decide rank 3, he lost to Hana.
He noted, "Damn, these Hyugas are tough to fight. Heck, pure Taijutsu competition against them is completely unfair."
Even Teru, though he fought well with his Senju style, in the end, he still lost. If I meet these Hyugas in tuning exams or somewhere, I'll be sure to pack a shitload of explosion tags to fight from far away.
Hiruzen had visited to spectate the Taijutsu completion. Fujin did note that everyone was much fiercer during the Taijutsu competition, especially Hana.
He wondered if that was because it was the exams, or because the Hokage was spectating.
With all the exams completed, the teachers allowed the students a small break while they readied the final scores of everyone.